Hey everyone, today I'm gonna be unboxing my first resin 3D printer, Elegoo Saturn 4 Ultra. I've been wanting to dive into resin printing for a while now, and I finally pulled the trigger. So let's get started. I don't have any experience with resin printers, so let's see if this printer is beginner friendly. So first, inside the box is your power cord. Here's your user's manual. It also comes with the resin drip tray with a big Elegoo branding. Printer dimensions are 327.4mm by 329.2mm by 548mm in height. Here's the accessory box I just dropped, and luckily there's no damaged item inside. So inside the box it comes with gloves, one USB drive, two screws for your vat resin container, backup screws, and Allen wrench. Here's your sharp build plate scraper, really sharp scraper. Comes with one Wi-Fi antenna, one big power adapter, one plastic scraper to clean resin leftovers from your vat. Here's your funnels for your leftover resin, two masks. What I like about Elegoo is they included activation key for your Box Pro slicer. Here's the build plate look like with the protective film on it. Here's your vat resin container with a max label line to avoid spills. On the side of the printer you have your power port, power button, USB drive port, and Wi-Fi antenna connector. Removing and replacing the build plate is pretty easy. Just gently lift the handle and pull the build plate out. This printer does come with a built-in AI camera that allows you to monitor your prints in real time and also records time lapses. It can also detect issues like warping and ensuring the build plate is clear before starting. It comes with a removable vent cover, and the vent hole is designed to fit a 75mm hose. This feature helps in managing resin fumes and maintaining a safer printing environment. The built-in cover looks sleek, and it's designed to protect the uncured resin from ambient UV exposure and can be tilted back with one hand. I've seen a lot of users who printed their handles, and I think I will be doing that on this printer as well. So before we test the printer, I want to make sure that I'm protected, so I bought a respirator with goggle and nitrile gloves as recommended. For my first resin, I don't want to spend too much buying IPA, so I bought a Sunlu solid gray water washable resin. To protect my work surface from resin spills, I also bought a cheap silicone slab mat from Amazon. Now that my printer is in place, I got my respirator and gloves. Let's go ahead and print something. Before using the printer, make sure to remove all the protective films. Attach the resin vat screws. Install the Wi-Fi antenna, and the manual recommends you to update your firmware to the latest version once you are connected to your Wi-Fi. So once we updated the system, let's reboot it once again. I tried installing the Box Pro slicer from official website, but unfortunately I can't find the Elegoo Saturn 4 from the printer profile. But someone have told me that I need to install the Box version from the yellow USB drive provided by Elegoo, and there you can find your Saturn 4 Ultra profile from the list. So once it's rebooted, we'll do another self-test, and when it's done, I think I can proceed to printing. One more thing before I test it, I forgot to remove one more protective film from the build plate, which will result in a print failure.
Oh, I remember.
Now we are ready for a first print. First, let's pour in our resin to the vat container. According to the instruction, it is important to shake the bottle for like 30 seconds or 1 minute to ensure that components are evenly distributed. Now let's add resin for our first test. Now I can tell that my mask is really helpful because I don't really smell any fumes while adding the resin. While I'm adding the resin, I'm trying to make sure that I won't overload it, passing the max line in the vat. For my first test file, I did purchase a Predator Bust STL from Etsy, slide it with Box Pro, and load it in my USB drive. This print will take about 5 hours to complete, so I'll leave it in here and record the time lapse with the AI camera. print. So our first resin print is done and it looks good so far from the first look. It looks like it completed faster than the initial estimated time calculated, which is 5 hours, but it only took 3 hours and a half. I didn't even change any speed settings mid-print. For my first time removing the build plate, I forgot to put the bib, so resin dripped outside the vat and I had to clean it right away with a tissue paper. Removing the model from the build plate isn't really that hard, and the sharp scraper that came with the printer really helped a lot. So here it is, our first print taken out from the plate, and it looks really good to me. So for my post-processing, I didn't have my wash and cure station when I made this video, so I washed it manually with water and cured it under the sunlight for 2 to 3 hours for each angle. I live in Los Angeles area, so sunlight isn't really a problem. So here it is, the first print after curing, and it looks really good to me without changing any settings or even calibrating the exposure and resin calibration. Those tiny details looks really good, but I made a mistake for not completely drying it before curing it under the sunlight. I think that's the result of having these powdery white dust like over the chest surface, or maybe for over brushing while cleaning it. It is my first print, so it is a learning process for me as I continue to print more models. Choosing the Elegoo Saturn 4 Ultra as my first resin printer made starting this resin printing journey much easier. I believe I made a great choice for this machine, and I would highly recommend it to anyone looking to join the resin printing community. I still have a lot to learn about this hobby, and I'm excited to print more models and hopefully print my own 3D designs someday. The auto leveling feature of this printer has been a game changer, allowing me to skip the hassle and enjoy printing right away. Elegoo did an excellent job incorporating this feature. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.